Hey there again. Welcome back. This is Road to Data Engineer episode 4. This should be part 2 of Python list comprehension. So, in the last episode, I kind of reviewed the basic concept a bit, got a little more comfortable with it, and then started trying to solve this hacker rank issue or problem that's giving me issues. So I've been thinking about it since I stepped away. And I think there's really like two approaches that I could take. I can say build my I, J, and K values separately and then do like a I plus an insert of I, J, and K all at the same time. Or I can like build my list. Oh, my Swedish keyboard is here we go. My list of permutations in one go, where like I build in an IJK object all at once, and then insert it into the list or something like that. And I feel like I want to try to figure out if it's possible to do this second way. So let me just like write out a comment real quick. So like example variable would be like list x in for x in range 0 to 10. You know, if x is less than 5 or something. So that's like an example list using list comprehension. Saying that right, list comprehension, yeah. So I almost want to do something like this, like all permutations equals a list where I have a list of I, J, K. In let me make sure I did the format right. Or sorry, not in, just IJK for X in range 0 to 10 if I plus J plus K is less than N. N equals 3. I feel like I'm not quite sure what path I'm going down here, but I feel like I'm on the right track. Like I feel like I'm onto something. So print all list coordinate possible coordinates given by AJK on a 3D grid where the sum of I plus J plus K is not equal to N. Not equal to. I think they really mean sum to N to be only the valid permutations. And I think they really mean less than N, but could does not equal n. Okay. Can I do something like this? Hmm. Not quite sure there yet. Maybe if I get this last piece here where it says you can't add up I and j and k and have it be equal to n. So let me see if I can do this. Let me take their example and try to figure out this last piece of code, and maybe that will kind of help guide me figure this first piece that I'm struggling with of like, how do I get all the combinations of I, j, and k without looping? So we're just gonna do hacker permutations, right? And then we're gonna do, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Pretty sure. And let's see. My permutations should be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, and 1, 1, 2. Ooh. You know, I think even from their example here, we can already, there's already kind of a hint on how to do this. Because let's see here. So these first three are literally just basically only looping through Z, right? Now, what are the next couple? And then Y is basically now looping through Y, going through all the iterations of Y still remaining. I think. Or no, not exactly. Kind of, sort of, kind of. Okay, well, we'll see. So remove all arrays that sum to n equals t. Leave only the valid permutations. Sum to 3. So 9. I'm gonna call my list. So here, I should be able to do some type of list comprehension. So I should basically be able to say object for object in hacker permutations. So add my item to the list from this other list if the values in it do not equal n. If some values don't equal n, some values of x don't equal n. So I need to know, how do I access the values of x? So I need to understand, I need to review accessing list real quick. Because I need to be able to access not just the list within the list, but the actual values. List methods, access list items. Well, let's look at list methods. Copy, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse sort. Removes an item with specified value. Count. So no list methods. Remove list item. Access list items. What if I do like need to maybe figure out how do I access the array methods. Can I do something like hacker permutations? Must be integers or slices, not list. need to define in. It's just the same one. I think it's maybe time to look at the discussion. I feel like this is not supposed to be all that hard, but product range. Just want to scan through here for a minute for I, and range for J, and range for J. Okay. What? No way. So you can do that's so weird. So I see what they're doing here. It's just weird because they're accessing essentially 3 different lists they're creating with range. All at the same time. Now, does anybody do a solution where they set up the range? Range. Let's look at the tutorial concept. You already listed previous hacks. The list without having to use different for loops to append values. These examples might help. Of a list comprehension is expression involving loop variable for loop variable in sequence. Step over any element in the sequence, successfully setting the loop variable equal to every element one at a time. So list of numbers x for x in range. Yes, so I understand that, and I felt comfortable with that already. For outer loop variable in outer sequence. For inner loop variable in inner sequence. Results dot append expression involving loop variables. xy for x. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 4, 1, 5. For x and so this makes sense. And that makes sense. For x and 1, 2, 3. For y and 1, 2, 3. Okay, I see the multi-loop structure there, and I see how it's similar to their example. That makes sense. Okay. So that makes sense. That totally makes sense. So, okay. So I know that I sort of already, saw other people's solutions and stuff, but I still want to write the code itself. So they had, it's basically the idea of having a loop within a loop. Okay. So let's try this. We're gonna do final or acceptable permutations equals, we have our list. So that's basically the idea. So here we want to do our I, J, K. Yep. And then we want to start doing our loops. So for I in our possible values that I can be, which was range 0 to x plus 1. And then we want to do the same thing for j in range 0, y plus 1. For k in range 0, z plus 1. Z plus 1. And we only want to add it to the list if x plus y plus z does not equal n. So this, let's break this down a little bit. So basically it's saying, hey, here's my list, my new kind of list. Now we're going to go through all of these sequences. Now insert I, insert J, insert K. Now go further into I, insert the same J, insert the same K. Okay, so I think this makes sense in general to me. So let's see if we got the right number. Maybe X, Y, Z. 1, 1, 2. I think we got some permutations where it was over 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. What's different here? 0, 0, 0, 1. 0, 1, 0. 0, 1, 1. Yeah, maybe something about the way the expression's being evaluated. I need it to be all evaluated at once. Let's try this again. So I want to do how many did I get in my list variable the first time. I know there's got to be a list method for counting the number of objects on the list. Maybe. Acceptable permutations dot count. Let's ask GPT. There's got to be a method. Surely. Using the length function. Oh, it's just not a method, it's just a number. It's just a regular function. Okay, that makes sense. So right now I have 12 items. Now let's say when I rerun with the new updated code, how many items are on the list? Still 12. Maybe my operator's wrong? Pretty sure that's the right comparison. They're not equal. Not equal. Yeah. Oh, I'm calling the wrong variables. I need to call I, J, and K. I'm silly. And I probably don't even need these parentheses. So I plus J plus K. Here we go. There we go. 9. Let's compare to the example. 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay. Run the list in lexicographic increasing order. I think I already saw somebody just basically use sort. Let's just use the sort method and kind of see the differences. So let's try now with sort applied. Sample input, sample output. You need to see. Maybe I just do. Well, that definitely didn't work. just printing it. So what happens if I just insert the code like this? Will it consider an acceptable solution? Oh, there's a big bang outside. 1 second, guys. There's been a really big storm in my area all night. There was a tornado warning earlier, so maybe I should check that. I'm just going to turn off the second display a little for a second while I look up the weather in my area. No, I think I'm fine. I think it was just thunder rumbling for a minute there. Well, anyways, so this code works. You know, really struggled with this one, but we learned a little bit. So I guess ultimately that's really what counts. So we're going to submit the code. And there we go. Technically, we finished that hacker question, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. So, I want to study for a few more minutes before calling it a night and getting ready to go to bed. I think I'm just going to do a little research on where I might get data for the side project, the BJJ Analysis, and how I might access that. So I did some digging a little while back. I kind of have some ideas. But let's start looking around. So, IBJJF API. API for IBJJF. Ooh. So people in Reddit are saying IBJJF probably doesn't have an API. By the site owner. rounds outside of the middle rounds, but get your scraper out. You might have to web scrape. BJJ stats compilation, data analysis, almanac, ADCC, modern day, post, ADCT, team stats. Heel hooks, takedowns, referee, the guard. Basically other people's, what they did in terms of data analysis around BJJ. Okay. Crunching numbers. Further down the rabbit hole, guard pass. Takedown throw, strong sweeping game. Throwing wars. Haraya sweep single, drop say a 9, failed guard through. Double A, collar bang, miscellaneous single pick. So this is super cool. I wonder how this guy pulled his data. Okay. I mean, IBJJF tournament, IBJJF Worlds tournament results. Shattered and history made. Black Belt World Champions. Male rooster weight. Male light feather. Okay. So, I mean, we have Wikipedia, which is good. And IBJJF has a lot of data, too. So we have here Wheeler, and really we just care about the absolute. Men's black belt, absolute, maybe women's too, but that might be a little harder to snag. Oh, they didn't even have an absolute division until 2007 for D worlds. Probably just gonna do men's. What's Tapology? Fight Center rankings. Okay. Open finals. I wonder if it has a weight. Event start time. Fighter details. Weight class, light heavyweight. Last weigh in 195 pounds. Okay. Tapology, fighters, bouts. I wonder if Wikipedia will have their weight. Weight 185, middleweight. Open class. Open class. '88, like here, 1999. We see he did medium heavy because he was 88 kilograms. I wonder, does it have up-to-date data? Yeah, so it has up-to-date data for right now. Eric Muniz. Yaten Bueno. And I'm guessing most of the time if you win the absolute, you most of the time probably won your division, but not always. Like here, Eric Muniz won the absolute, but not his division, it looks like. But here, we see Victor Hugo won both the absolute and his division. So here we would be able to get his weight class based on him winning his division. But here in 2022, Miragali won the absolute and not his division. So, okay. We might have to web scrape. BJJF. So let's look here. In 2022, in theory, Miragali won the absolute, but not his weight class. So let's look for that. Okay, adult male, black, open class, Nicholas Miragali. Now let's find him. Yeah, so he took second in super heavy. So I could web scrape here too. 186. Adult black male open class. Amirdi Bietti. Did he medal? Here it's like he didn't even medal, so maybe you didn't have to medal at the time to enter the absolute. Let's look at like the mid 2000s. Because nowadays you have to make the podium to enter the absolute. Let's look at like 2004. Adult male open class, Ronaldo de Souza. I'm sure I looked at that right. Yep. Here we go. Ronaldo de Souza won the open class. Now we should be able to see him winning. Yeah. Podium, medium, heavy. Okay. Okay. So that's like an example where I don't know anything about web scraping really, but in theory, if we were able to web scrape this page, we would be able to see, okay, Ronaldo de Souza won the open class this year in 2004. And he also took second in medium heavy, which is like 190 something. JJF weight class. I believe it's like 185, no, 185, yeah, 188 with the gi on. So realistically, we know he was 185. He was 185 when he won the absolute. So even though there's no weight record for his first place here, we can calculate one. We can calculate as 185. So what our database schema, again, not exactly knowing how web scraping works, but would be something like, something like this. It would be like tournament, year, competitor, weight class, gender, belt, placing. Yep, so it would be like this. And it would say like, this was 2004, or IBJJF Worlds, 2004, Ronaldo, open class, male, black, first. Something like that. And then I would have a second record from also web scraping the same page that would say medium heavy. Right? And I'd probably set it up for the weight to be like weight underscore pounds, and I'd set up the code to basically say if open class NA or null, and if medium heavy 185, and then I would just say like, you know, like a SQL query would be like select tournament year competitor, max weight, gender, belt, placing, group by, all that stuff. Where weight class is open class, or something like that. But I'd be able to filter the data in the right way to get his weight. Now, there would be some instances where we don't have the weight, and that's where I might need an additional data source, whether that be Wikipedia or Google. Actually, Googling the individual fighter, maybe I would fill that into a spreadsheet. I'm not totally sure. Okay, let's just look at like what comes up if I just say Python web scraper. Python web scraping. Let's watch a quick beginner guide video. And then we're gonna call it a night. And we're gonna come back and do kind of two next steps. It's like, how do I build a web scraper? And how do I access the Wikipedia API? Some of this I'll be able to get here. And I think in particular for ADCC, they probably don't have a good source. So I want to do ADCC analysis. They probably don't have a super good source for results, but I bet Wikipedia does. Yep. So here, Wikipedia is where I'll pull my ADCC data. And I'm guessing there's probably missing results for Euros or Pans or some of these national level tournaments on ibjjf.com. So I might compare those to Wikipedia too. So, okay, so when I come back, it'll be like, how do I interact with the Wikipedia API? And how do I web scrape? Next steps. Learn how to interact with APIs, and specifically the Wikipedia API to pull tournament data. Learn how web scrapers work, because I need to web scrape ibjjf.com for tournament results. It's gonna be sick. Okay, let's watch this Python web scraper video.
Okay, so today we're doing web scraping 101. Got it? I certainly do.
Let's make a new note, web scraping.
So yeah, that's essentially what we're going to do. I'm going to try to make this as interesting to watch as possible, and this is basically just based on popular demand.
This guy sounds Swedish.
Have been asking me constantly to make a tutorial on how to web scrape with Python. So this is it. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is check that we have Python installed and what version we're working with.
I already have Python installed.
Then install it. Next, we create a virtual environment in Python. Type in python-m venv followed by the name of the environment that you want to create. I'll call it env. Now start your virtual environment. On Mac, you type in source env/bin/activate, and on Windows, you type in env/scripts/activate. Next, we need to install Selenium, so pip install Selenium. Done. Okay.
definitely need to understand virtual environments better in Python. I have a vague understanding of what they are generally, but not Python specific, that's for sure.
Now we need to create a file called webscraper.py, and in Mac or Linux you would only type in touch webscraper.py. But since this is Windows, you got to Google and spend 5 minutes looking for a simple answer to the simple question, how do I create a file in the Windows command prompt? Until your detective-like investigation finally leads you to some obscure forum post from like 2003 where it says that you type in echo dot and then this weird greater than or less than symbol webscraper.py. And that, my friends, is why Windows sucks. Try Linux or Mac and you can thank me later. Next, we need to open up the file that we just created, and like a child who got burnt by playing with matches, I could not be bothered going down the rabbit hole of trying to find the right command for opening up a file in Windows. I can only imagine how difficult Windows must make that, so I opened it up the old-fashioned way, by clicking. After doing this, I decided that I wanted to see how Windows actually deals with opening up files, and I realized that for once, Windows does it slightly better. You only type in the file name and hit enter and then it opens. Anyway, now let's write some code. Import the WebDriver. Now let's get the URL for the site to scrape. You can paste in Vim by holding Ctrl and right-clicking. Now we also need to download the Chrome driver for this to work. Check which version of Chrome you're running and then find the right version of the Chrome driver. My Chrome version is 86, so this one should work. Next, you may need to provide the path to your Chrome driver. The best way to do this is just to move it into the directory that you're going to be working in. I'll do this with a simple drag and drop. Nice. Now you're ready to start scraping. Head over to the page you want to scrape, YouTube in this case. Press Ctrl Shift and C or Command Shift C on Mac to inspect the page. Find the element that you're looking for and click on it. Sometimes it's pretty tricky finding the right item, so this can take some tries. Start with copying the XPath, and if that doesn't work, then try the full XPath. And if that doesn't work, then go through the HTML like this and see if there's a sub-element that you need to select. In this case, I can see that this other element says href something, and href is basically a link. So that is probably what we're looking for, since I'm guessing that this is the link to the video. Right-click and copy the XPath. Now let's use the WebDriver's findElementByXpath method and paste the XPath that you copied. Next, we can try the .click command to see what happens. Let's run this.
Okay.
And it works. Okay, and now I just want to mention that this video is sponsored by .tech domains. A lot of people are moving towards more innovative ways of creating domain names, basically choosing a domain name that is relevant for the company. If you work, it's only until the 2nd of December. Again, just to make a video. And my goal with this video was, again, just to make a video that is somewhat interesting to watch, and the goal there is just basically to make a tutorial video that people who know how to do this would still be interested in watching, or that would still be entertaining for people like that to watch, and simultaneously create a really high quality, high value tutorial that
Okay. Let's just ask GPT where I should start. Hey GPT. I want to learn. Well, let's ask it to explain. Hey GPT. Can you explain to me what web scraping is? Done using automated bots or web crawlers. Yes, that makes sense. Web scraping begins by making an HTTP request to the target website server to fetch the HTML of the web page. Request, that's the API library for Python 2, so that's good. Parse it. Parsing involves analyzing the structure and extracting the relevant data using techniques like regular expressions, expect queries, or levers like beautiful soup or LXML in Python. Data extract. After parsing, images, links, or structured information like tables can be extracted based on the scraping requirements. Extracted data can be stored in various formats, such as CSV files, databases. Yep, that's what I want to do. Legal, ethical. Okay, respectful. Yep, that all makes sense. Tools for scraping. Request beautiful soup, scrappy, or scrapey, XL. I wonder if beautiful soup is inspired. Let's see. Import beautiful soup. No module name. I might have spelled it wrong, to be honest. I have no idea. Does beautiful soup come as part with standard anaconda? No, does not come pre-installed anaconda. Wakanda, like this. This is installed correctly by Python script. Wakanda based on specific requirements. So let's try that. Let's try installing beautiful soup. No, you may need to restart this kernel or update packages. No module named pip. Bro. What? Let's try the comic. Interesting. Can you write me a sample Python web scraper? Parse the HTML content. Soup equals beautiful. HTML parser. Extracting data. Books. Book. Title. For print in the results. Print. Title. Book. Explanation. Parse the HTML. Beautiful soup is used to parse the HTML. Get requested URL. Website we want to scrape. Use soup select class book. So that all makes sense. I wonder if I can go ahead and make a request to IBJJF right now and see if I get a response. Let's make a request to the 2004 webpage. Yep. Response request get. So that makes sense. I'm sending a request to their server. Okay. So I did get a response. Okay, so here's the, I think this is HTML. Let's take a look. Here, let's see if GPT will tell me what kind of code this is. But I think it's HTML. Yep. Oh, this is sick. So let me look through the HTML and see if I can kind of understand it a little bit. Don't have any experience with HTML, but you know, body table, class category, blue, female, light, division, table, class. Place 1, class, athlete, academy, athlete name, Barbara Gomez, academy name, Quiros. Place 2. Okay, well, I clearly see results data. Category, adult blue, female light. Barbara Gomez. There we go. Academy name, Quiros Sada. Place 1. Category, adult, blue, female, light. Yes. Okay. Place 1. Place 2. Now, place 3. Vanessa and Joyce Bastos, place 3. Okay. So that's literally it. So this data probably shows the division div class. Or black male, adult black belt male. Script window, YouTube.target, Facebook. That's shit at the bottom, I think. Yeah, that stuff down at the bottom. Place. Yeah, okay, so juvenile, blue, male, open class. So it's probably not printing the top line, but the data's there. The data is definitely there. Let's see the code that GPT showed. Just want to get an idea. So now I kind of know what HTML data looks like. Response, soup, beautiful response. Response.text, HTML parser. Books, 4 books, in soup select .book. I'm guessing .book is like a class or something. All elements with class dot book. Okay, that makes sense. Let's try to install Beautiful Soup. Pip install Beautiful Soup. And we'll go ahead and open this VS Code. Beautiful Soup 4. Beautiful Soup 4. So let's update pip. And then let's try to download Beautiful Soup 4. New Python file. We're going to save as testing out we're just going to save it as a web scraper question mark. What's going on here? Oh, it's probably the web scraper or the question mark part that's confusing. So we're going to call it web scraper maybe. That's fun. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Import. I'm just going to try this code here. Parse the connection, and then we're going to put soup. In soup.select.book.title. Soup.select. Category. Soup.select. Category. maybe it needs to be dot category. So go to spelled category now. Oh, okay, here we go. Div class. Masculino. For book. For category in soup.select dot category. Title. How is that going to work? Let's say this. Okay, here we go. Div class category. How would I parse this HTML? Okay, so I don't know how to do it yet, but I know it's possible. And I see the data's there. So it's absolutely possible. And I'm already seeing how the web pages. BJJFDB. Whoa. Public results. You know what? I wonder what's on this web page. Maybe it shows me the other web pages. What I think I did first was that text or something. Let's see, section class row. Name. All International Open. Href, here we go. Public records. Oh, so I can, what I'm seeing here is, gotta figure it out, of course, but I think I can web scrape this page to web scrape all my URLs to go in here. That's awesome. Yeah. A lot of promise, a lot of promise. Okay. It's pretty late. I'm staying up past my bedtime, but learn about list comprehension today, starting to explore options for how to get my data for the side project. You know, I'm still just a baby in Python, and I don't know nothing, but I do know that I'm going to figure this stuff out, and this is really exciting. I'm seeing like, hey, I don't know, I don't even barely even know what a web scraper is, but I know I can learn what it is, and I know enough already to say it looks like I can web scrape BJJF to get my results, since there's clearly no API for them. And hey, I can use the Wikipedia API maybe still to get other tutorial results, and we can do this. So, all right, for anybody who watched, thanks so much, and I'll catch you next time.